I'm Enriquez de Jesus from Purpose Fund, sitting with Adam from ALK Asphalt. He's going to share his experience with a very common scam that happens in merchant cash advance. How were you contacted and what were you told by the broker when taking an advance?
There was a woman who said, I can consolidate all your MCAs into a long-term loan with a low interest rate. Yeah, so there's a girl named Lexi. She reached out, hooked me up with a guy named Ryan. He told me that he could give me a consolidation loan. You connect them with my financial person. They start going back and forth with financials. They say, we can close the deal next week. The next week turns into the following week. There's always excuses, always reasons. Then you end up pulling an MCA. I think a month, maybe a month and a half went down, or went by, and then he calls you, and he had a co-partner. His name was Chris, and they said Chris was working for a bank, and you feel like an idiot afterwards because just the stupid stuff, the stuff they pull. But when you're in that the moment of it, it feels real. They try to connect you with all these different people. Like at one time, he said I was talking to the CEO of Wells Fargo or something like that. And at the time you're questioning it because it seems off. But the way Ryan connected with me, I guess at the beginning, they almost get your trust because they know little things about you. They start asking personal questions, and this person almost seems like they're helping you. I think after the month went by, they said that my revenue wasn't high enough to close a deal. So then they tell you need to pull more MCAs to show your revenue's higher. So that's actually how I met you in that exact moment. I remember when I first was talking to you, and then you close the deal, and then nothing happens from there. So now you're stuck with this super high interest rate loan. Yeah, you're in a terrible place at that point. Those guys, they act really busy, and they just, tomorrow is going to happen, tomorrow it's going to happen, tomorrow it's going to happen. And tomorrow turned into 2 months, and then it never happens. And then when you have no choice, you have a choice if you just slow down. You slow down, you just sit. You're going to have to deal with really tough, hard things just because you got there for a reason. But those MCA scams aren't the way to go. There's no such thing as $1 million consolidation loan over 10 years in a day. That's not how that stuff works. What they want you to do is think fast. They don't want you to actually think about what's going on or second guess it. They always tell you, trust me. They always tell you they're helping you. And there was a time where I thought Ryan, I would even tell him, like, dude, this is awesome what you're doing. But it's not. All they're trying to do is get you to close on more MCAs so they can take a commission, and then you're just getting in a bigger hole, and you're dragging people down there with you.
What did they tell you and what actually happened?
So what they told me is I was going to get a 10-year, I'm just going ballpark numbers, $2 million loan at like a 7% interest rate, something that's too good to be true. I mean, you're already, at the time, I was already in so much weekly debt from MCAs. I was 100 to 100 and I think $80,000 a week was coming out of my account. And it just comes out automatically. And that's not sustainable for a small business. But what they promise you is you get a 10-year low interest rate loan. At first, they tell you it's good. So at first, they say your financials are good. But then every day it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And about a month into it, then your financials aren't good enough.
What did they tell you to push it off?
People were either out of town, their bosses weren't approving it. Yeah, mainly they couldn't get their managers' approvals after they told me they would. And then they work as a team, but so Chris was supposed to have not been, there's a guy Chris, I don't think his name's Chris, but that's what they said his name was. But he was working at the bank and he's getting all this stuff approved. Ryan was his so-called friend, but I think they worked together. Because there'd be times at night you talk 7, 8 o'clock at night. I mean, you're in a really tough spot. You're trying to make payroll. You're not really talking to anybody about it because I mean, you're just trying to figure it out. So they play you against each other. So a lot of times I would try to get them two together on the same phone call, but it was really hard to do because I was starting to feel like there was some shenanigans going on, but then there was always an excuse. One was busy. So a lot of these guys are in the Jewish, they are Jewish. And there was a week where I couldn't get a hold of him because he said he was celebrating one of their holidays. Yeah, and then at the end, they kind of blame you because they tell you it's because of your revenue. So after you've done all that and you're kind of going by what they're telling you to do, and in a way, yeah, you're doing it, but you're going by their guidance, thinking that this is gonna get a 10-year consolidation loan or a long-term consolidation loan and fix all your problems. You know, you're going. I think the terms were $10,000 a month. I mean, going from 100 to 150,000 a week to 10,000 a month is a huge difference. Once you pull all these loans, then they try to actually help you negotiate lower terms with the MCAs, but they don't do none of the talking for you. They tell you. So it's almost like they just keep you there. And at the end, nothing happens. The guy I actually dealt with, I tried to meet in person. He will not meet with me. I just want to talk to him about it and figure out what happened.
Which guy?
His name was Ryan, and his company, he said it was I think. And then and in my bankruptcy, because I had to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy, it's 100% payback for even all the MCAs I took, because at the end of the day, I took the money. But yeah, Ryan, who is technically the initiator behind it, because they come to you saying they're going to help you. And then they don't really help you, they just dig you deeper. His reason for not meeting with me was because he was upset how I handled myself during the bankruptcy. In a nutshell, they offer you something that's not real. They keep you dangling by coming up with excuses why the loan's not being closed. There's always a tomorrow. Everything's tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and then you won't hear nothing. You got to reach out to them. You won't really hear anything until they guide you to pull another MCA, to boost revenue or for whatever reason they may come up with. That's probably the biggest red flag of all. If you pulled MCAs and you're in this spot just because you're a new business owner or whatever happened, pulling another one's not going to fix it.
So the solution ended up always being to take another MCA.
Correct. So it was just to close an MCA. And they would guide you through the steps on what to say during your interviews prior. They would actually coach you on what to say.
What would they tell you to say?
Just good things about your company, and then they would tell you to say if you were asked in the interview, if someone else asked you if you're pulling this to consolidate or close at any other MCA, they tell you not to say yes. They tell you to say no. So at the moment, that's your buddy right there. Like, that's your friend who's trying to help you out of this. You think you do this, tomorrow everything gets paid down, even the person you're talking to. So then everybody wins. But it doesn't. So you pull that MCA, and then tomorrow comes and there's a reason. Now your revenue is not high enough, or their boss can't get a hold of this guy, Chris. Everything was about putting everything back and forth on each other. So they would just blame Chris or Ryan. And then in the end, I'm assuming they were just in the same office, probably similar to this, doing it. For any other business owner in that spot, I mean, if you're trying to figure out how to make payroll, that's normal at the beginning. But if you're starting to get into MCAs, I think do your research, get a hold of a guy like you that's willing to talk.
What's a red flag that sticks out to you now that you would share with a business owner who may be being pitched the same exact scam?
You'll get a bunch of phone calls, you'll get a bunch of texts pretty much telling you, hey, we can give you $300,000 at the payback of $310,000 just to get you in. If they're trying to get you to close same day, if they're trying to get you to close anything fast, another red flag. These guys reach out to you and they act like they're your friend trying to help you, and they're trying to coach you on what to say. Don't listen to them. That would be the red flags that I would say.
Would you say that if the broker who's contacting a business owner, if the solution is always another MCA, that's a red flag?
Correct. Huge red flag. It's because it's actually something good. It's just the majority of it's turned to bad because it's been taken advantage of. If the MCA lender actually tells you no on some things, that's good. That means they're actually giving you some honest feedback. But if everything's a yes, that's a red flag as well.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, man.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.